Interface Segregation Principle. Now, Interface Segregation Principle states that clients should not be forced to depend upon interface they do not use. So this is the example. Classes that implement small interface are more focused and tend to have a single purpose. Let us see what this means. Let's say I have an interface called worker, and inside worker there are several methods like work and another method called eat. Now if I have to create a class that implements this interface, so let's say I have a class called robot, and now if this class implements this interface, then this class should compulsorily implement these two methods. Now if robot does not need these two methods, then this will be a problem. So this violates interface segregation principle. So to solve this, what we can do is we can divide this interface into smaller parts. So we can create a separate interface that implements work method. So we can create an interface called workable. So what I mean to say is we can create a separate method or separate interface called workable, and that has the method work. And similarly, we can create separate interface that has method eat. Now, if the robot wants to implement only work, then it can implement only this interface and not this interface. And let's suppose there is a class called human, then it can implement both of this interface. So by dividing our big interface into smaller interface, we are not violating interface segregation principle. So let us see this in code. So let us create a file called ISP, interface segregation principle.typescript, and inside package.principle or package.json. So let us create isp.ts. So first of all, as always, I'm going to show you a bad code example. So here is an interface called worker, which has two methods, work and eat. Now robot has to compulsorily implement work and eat. It does not need eat method, but it has to implement the method because it is implementing this interface. So let us convert this bad code into a good code. So let us comment this code. So commenting this code. Now, so let us transform this code into good code that follows interface segregation principle. So I can create a separate interface called workable, and this interface has only one method, work. And similarly, I can create a new interface called eatable, and eatable has method eat. So if any class like robot only needs to implement work method, then it can implement workable interface. So robot implements workable, and I can implement this work, and I can just console.log working. And let's say I have a class called human, then it can implement both work and eat method by implementing both workable and eatable interface. So let's say the class is human. Now it can implement workable as well as eatable. Now I have to also implement the eat method, and I could do console.log eating. So in this way, we have transformed our bad code into good code by following interface segregation principle.